challenge. Just like, is he gonna be able to stand up and really be like that lead figure of the household? And like you said, like, put me in my place sometimes. Like, I need that.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. I told you guys about Karen and her friends and their discussion about their relationship with Miles. Guys, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you got the minerals. Don't forget to grab your hoodies. It's getting cold now, innit? It's getting cold now, innit? Grab your hoodie. Do you understand? Don't play with me. Grab your hoodie. Alright, let's talk about Karen and her friends. So, the Bible says that bad company corrupts good morale, which would mean that good company can produce good morale. Good friends are important. Hang around wise people, you shall be wise. Hang with foolish people, and you shall surely be a fool. Listen, you need to have good friends to pull you up. Screw up! When you're in the wrong and when you're moving mad and when you need good advice, okay? Now, when it comes to marriages, it's very hard because many people don't have an insight into marriage. They've never been married. So we can be advising from our single perspective or our relationship perspective. Now, here's the thing. The situation with Karen and her friends is that when Karen, I think Karen didn't even really want to have this conversation anyway, but they have a conversation now, and the friends, the friend especially with the blonde short hair, immediately says, you know,
I'm real optimistic about you guys.
I am.
Me too.
What's on your mind? How you feeling about it?
It's just a lot going on right now. I got married to a stranger during a pandemic.
You know, she's optimistic about their relationship. She's happy for them. Why? Because she senses that Miles is a good guy. Okay? The other friend with the long hair, you know, Keisha with the good long hair, you know, also is showing that there's optimism towards Miles.
I do too.
So you girl, can you see us together? And like, what are y'all like?
I think I
see? What be the
can. Like
pros?
after this.
I do have.
And if you remember as well, some episodes back, I think it's episode 8, when Miles was round the house, you'll realize that that same girl came to Miles and told him, listen, you know, Karen is, and this is what I told you guys. She said obviously that, you know, Karen's like a bad puppy. Remember this episode 8? She said Karen's like a bad puppy, you just got to tell her no. Right? Now, she highlighted Karen's type of behavior. I think that friend is a very astute friend. Maybe let's clap her. That is a very astute, aware, observatory friend. And I think I said this in my review in episode 8. I said this and I'll say it again. I really think, and I really do think, the way that she came in episode 8 towards Miles, I think she knows. I think she knows that Miles is a good guy, and if she had him, I'm reaching. That she would do better for him. I'm not saying that she's trying to steal him, please, no. I think in the back of her mind, she goes, if that was me, I wouldn't be like this. I wouldn't be like this. Do you know why I say that? Because the way that she did it in episode 8, the way she was speaking to Miles, it was a unique way. And also in this particular episode, the way that she backs Miles and really loves Miles, I can tell that she thinks that Miles is a great guy. You know, and you know, the way that she was questioning Karen and the way she read Karen also. Woo! The way she read Karen.
Yeah.
If I know your love language, then I can cater to it because I love you and I want to be that person for you. But if I don't feel comfortable doing it, those are all signs and reasons why people break up.
And gave her a script and tell her, listen, no, you don't listen. Told her, listen, no, listen, you, if you don't do love languages and you don't know how to understand that, my sister, you'll be messing the thing up. You understand? So she read the script to Karen, right? Unlike the other friend who wasn't as vocal, but she was giving some backup. You know, this friend here was giving her the true vibes that needed to come for Karen. And just like when Dr. Pepper had to give up the pull-up, screw, this is the same way the friend had to give the pull-up, screw, so that you know that, listen, come on, like, get on it, you get me? All right, cool. So
it has definitely factored in. He's been super stressed just because, I mean, he is a Black male. Right, so I've been trying to like...
I went on to say that, you know, with Miles, it affected him a lot. And obviously we saw that in the cabin. It has affected him a lot. Not just Miles, you know. Men and women. Like, Karen's gone on like, it didn't really affect her. Like, because she didn't mention that it affected her. She didn't mention the fact that, yeah, it's affected both of us because, like, I know it did because obviously she mentioned the last episode. But it's the choice of words and this moment that make me see the situation. That she didn't really mention herself, but she mentioned how Miles was affected by it. Okay, you know, and I don't know, I don't want to read into that. I don't want to, but let me read into it anyway. It was almost like the not saying that she felt like he was too emotional, but saying he was too emotional about the situation. Do you get me? But then she went on to say something which was really interesting. She said, obviously, I was trying to figure out if, you know, at that moment he wants me to be all up on him, doesn't want me to be all up on him. And I was like, Karen, you know what he needs. You see, you've been told. Like, this is my first, this again goes back to my part that I feel like sometimes Karen is ingenuine and she just doesn't want to do it. There's a difference. I don't know how to do and I don't want to do. Completely different. In relationships where you're saying, I don't know how to do, you're actually asking for help. Help me, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me?
Really gonna be happy with that. Does he need more from me?
If he's like, okay, affection is his thing, and you're not giving it to him, that could be an issue.
It'd be a real issue.
When you say, I don't want to do, oftentimes we may not say it outright, we'll just not do it. Right? We'll just not do it. Okay? And we know that to be true because later on, I'm going to show you, I'll show you a clip now, but I'll explain it later on. So she said, oh, she's trying to figure out. I'm like, there's nothing to figure out, darling. There's nothing to figure out. You are Captain Communication. Communicate. Ask him, did he want you to do it that way? And the fact is, obviously, then the friend was like, oh, but what, is Miles that kind of type? And I think they instantly knew. They did. Because the girl, when she asked it, the one with the blonde hair asked it, it's like, well, Miles is not that kind of type, is he? Like, she would, we haven't seen her around, so we don't really know her thing. But the other girl was like, the other girl knew straight away. You know, straight away that, she knew straight away that, obviously, that was going to be an issue for Karen. But that for me, again, Miles has explained this several times that he needs that affection. He wants it to be all over him. He's explained that before. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, she admits that this is not her second nature. Now, let me be very frank with you. Karen has stated, if you're looking for someone who's going to big you up and tell you, look, you look amazing, you look good, I'm not that kind of person in it. I'm not that way inclined. I don't do them kind of things. Alright, cool. But remember, and I keep bringing this up, it was only 2 episodes ago when I was talking to Dr. Pepper, it was the last episode, where she mentioned, it was 2 episodes ago, where she mentioned the fact that, you know, she can be this nurturing type. It is natural to her to be nurturing. So, where's the nurturing now when it comes to the touchy-feely side? I really believe that, you know, again, without going to another review, that I really do believe that Karen has held back in this area, and she said it herself, because why? Because the fact that she doesn't feel like he's masculine the way she wants it to be, so therefore she's unable to allow herself to then feminize herself and go into the touchy-feely.
Me, like, that's not like my second nature to be like, oh, come here, and
right?
Let me love you.
Then it makes it hard for her to do. But let me be very frank with you. You will do what you will. Listen, in this particular thing, if touchy-feely is your behavior, you do it. If touchy-feely is your behavior, you'll just do it. You understand? So her mentioning about that it's not her second nature. We do know that part of it is not a second nature. I just feel there's confusion of different points that she's made throughout the course of the season. You know, and then Karen obviously asked, you know, does he need more from me? Karen! Does he need more from you? Of course he does. What has he been saying? Has he been talking to a wall, blood? Oh my days. Listen, can I be very frank with you? A lot of us in relationships, when we get into them, we struggle to comprehend. I keep saying this and I'll keep saying this. Because actually we don't want to listen. We want to listen to respond and get our point across because we have a sense of entitlement. We think we're right. And let me tell you something, and I learned this from another video, and you know what, you need to watch it. The guy said, listen, in a marriage, so listen, if you have to win the argument, you ain't gonna win the war. Let me say it again. If you have to win the argument, you ain't gonna win the war. And the war is just the marriage. You're not gonna beat You're not going to beat the traps that are set against you to not let your marriage work. You won't, because if you're focused on trying to win arguments, it's about you and not about us and about we. Marriage is about us and we. I already told you guys, marriage comes with a form of suffering. And the suffering is self-denial. The suffering in marriage is to say, I'm putting you first. And that person too should put you first. Therefore, nobody should lose out. Now, obviously, it comes to the course of a relationship, things do happen. But here, quite clearly, she's asking, does he need more from me? But you know he does. He's expressed this on several occasions. That's why I'm saying it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
Is he really going to be happy with that? Does he need more from me?
If he's like, okay, affection is his thing, and you're not giving it to him, that could be an issue.
It'd be a real issue.
Like, you're acting as if you don't have these conversations behind the scene. Maybe it was on a placard. Let me put my hands up. Maybe it was on a placard and she read it and she asked the question like they said it was she said. But does he need more from me? Karen, he does. You know this. He said this to you. You know? He said this to you. You had a very frank conversation about this. And so here's the thing. Now you're about not wanting to do it. It's not about I can't. You don't want to do it. You know? And so the friend came in and really highlighted, said, listen, look, you know, if I know your love language, I can cater. But if you're not comfortable doing it, okay, it's different. And when she said, when you're not comfortable doing it, yeah, that's when Karen went, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I know your love language, then I can cater to it because I love you and I want to be that person for you. But if I don't feel comfortable doing it, those are all signs and reasons why people break up.
Karen, how are you going, mm-hmm? Don't you realize she's talking about you? She's actually reading you. Because actually what she's saying is, listen, there's one, what the person's actually saying is this. If it's a love language, I can learn to do this thing. If it's to do with the fact you don't want to do it, then you're going to lose your partner. Very, very clear. And Karen missed it. She thought she was getting agreement. And I think this is a problem. Because remember, in episode 8, when the friend came to Miles, she said to Miles, is Karen, yeah, got her professional hat on, or is she giving you Karen? Yeah? Now, the Karen that we're talking about here, yeah, is not listening very well. The Karen we're talking about is not listening at the moment. And so what we're seeing in this particular scenario and situation is that the difference between I don't know how to do, as I said before, and I don't want to do. And the friend read it out very, very clearly. But Karen didn't deep it. And I think that should let you know where Karen's head's at. That should let you know what Karen was expecting. She was expecting some backing. The backing ain't coming. As a friend said, listen, you are going to let you lose a partner that way. You will lose a partner that way. And that's what I'm saying to you. It's not good for us to baby her, nor baby Miles too. I've probably been a bit kind to Miles. There are some aspects of Miles that needs to change. He knows that already. But they're not destructive. I want you to understand something. His pleasing nature, or the nature to want to please, is not destructive. It's malignant. And when it meets somebody else who's willing to take advantage, then it becomes destructive. Because now the person will try to destroy you by taking from you and not giving back to you. That's the difference. And then obviously they asked her about the kiss situation. Are you lot kissing? And then Karen's like, oh, well, we kiss.
She said, y'all be kissing.
We kissed. I think it was a struggle in the beginning. Part of it was, I felt like he wasn't like 100% keeping it real.
Sis, you don't even kiss. You don't even kiss, girl. Miles has told us strictly dickly that y'all ain't getting nothing, no action physically, sexually, unless he initiates it. So it's not we kiss, he kisses me. You know? He's the one kissing you. And so right now, all we're seeing is that there's a lack, I believe there's a lack of introspectiveness in Karen at the moment. The pain that she's feeling, from wherever it's coming from, and I'll talk about love styles in a minute. That pain is causing her an inability to look within and say, hey, my behavior is a bit shocking.
I think it was a struggle in the beginning. Part of it was, I felt like he wasn't like 100% keeping it real. I felt like he was just trying to be like, oh, I'm Mr.
Struggled to kiss him, and here's the reason why, is because she felt like he wasn't keeping it real. Karen, what? Because he didn't pull you up like a bad puppy. That's why. Because he didn't check you, boo. That's why you couldn't kiss him. Man, like, say you don't like the bro, man. Just say you don't like the bro, like, do you get me? Just say you don't like the bro and that you're trying. Just say you don't like the bro and you're trying. And make it easy for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact is that you said obviously Miles has dialed it back and being more real. In what sense? Now, I know that in one or two more occasions he's been more vocal about what he feels. Yes, I believe he was a people pleaser. But I explained this in the last video. I said to yourself, if you knew he was a people pleaser and you knew that he was holding back, it was your job to create a safe space to have the conversation. I called it making Switzerland in your relationship, where both people can come safely and explain how they feel in this place. Right? Giving them the option to do that. Do you feel what I'm saying? Plus that Miles has obviously said he's broken it down to you as well, how he wants it to be done. So it was so interesting. Why? Because a friend gave a very, very telling face that made me aware that the friend knew that Karen may be a little bit bad vibes. Let me be very frank. The friend knew that Karen was a little bit bad vibes. Here's why. Because when Karen went on to say, you know, everything's puppies and roses and rainbows, the friend's face was like, what? Like nobody expects that. I don't think Miles is even expecting that. Don't get it twisted. It's not going to be puppies and rainbows. He knows that. But remember, me being nice, you've questioned my nicety. That's what you've done. You've not questioned whether I'm being genuine. Well, you've questioned whether I'm being genuine, and you've questioned whether my niceness is fake.
Like, if it's puppies and rainbows every day, like, that's great. But like, we're gonna have to deal with like real life stuff, and I'm gonna have to know that like he is able to handle.
So if me being real now is to kill off the niceness, is that what you're trying to say I should do? That's me being nice. I stop being nice. That be real. That's not how. That is not it. You've now tampered with how he behaves, and he mentioned this in the end scene. He now he's going to get to a place where he can no longer be himself. If he can't be himself out there, and now he comes into his home, and he can't be a man in his own home. He can't be the type of man that he actually is.
If I can't be unapologetically myself at home, some days I can't be that outside, right? And so I have to be able to feel like that at home, have that peace and safety at home. That's important to me.
He's going to have a problem. He's going to suffer internally. And so that friend looked at her like, whoa, you're a bit bad vibes. I ain't going to lie to you. You're a little bit bad vibes. You know, and the way the friend was even defending Miles, I said, man, this girl can see the value in Miles, man. Karen can't see it yet. Karen can't pick it up just yet. She's still in the mode of, I want a little bit of a guy that's a little bit of a certain way. And that's not what you've got here. You want alpha male, but you're not going to get it here. He's not alpha. He's not alpha. And he's not alpha. But don't make... Okay, stop. You know, and then a friend went on to say, obviously, she admitted that Karen is a strong person and needs an alpha male presence.
So I think it's going to take like an alpha male presence, because I don't think you listen. Oh, like not in a bad way, but you're gonna have to.
And you know what? You're absolutely right. But let me tell you something about alpha males. They don't need beef. Alpha male does not mean that he wants beef in his relationship. Alpha male does not mean that he wants to be telling you to shut up, or telling you to keep your mouth closed, or telling you to sit down, or to keep, you know, or to back. Listen, no, alpha male doesn't need that. What alpha male relies on is compliance. Like, because alpha male is about being able to persuade and get the person on side. Do you get what I'm saying? A good alpha male naturally will command that from the person. There won't be a discussion. There won't be a need to check you, boo, because that energy carries that. Now, Miles is not an alpha male. I'm going to be very frank with you. He's not an alpha male. Okay, and you know, and the fact that the friend exposed that Karen doesn't listen, that's not a quality of going to attract an alpha male. I'm sorry. You see, some of us think, yeah, and you know, I'm guilty of this too. You meet certain girls and you think they're just really hard, innit, and blah blah blah. But the truth of the matter is, when you don't listen, you're hard-headed. You're good for nobody. Males and females. You are good for nobody. Okay, you're good for somebody. There's somebody there that's good for you. Let me be frank. There's somebody that is good for you. But to have healthy relationships requires people to not be so stubborn. It requires for people to actually open their ears and pin them back. I think Karen has a problem listening because obviously emotions don't... Obviously we know that emotions for her are like... are not a thing, yeah? So listening is going to be a problem too. Because it's like I need to feel it, not hear it. So Miles is giving you, I hear you and hear me. But what she needs is, I feel you and feel me. I'm not talking about abusive, I'm not talking about beating, I'm talking about...
Going to take like an alpha male presence because I don't think you listen.
Oh,
Like, not in a bad way, but you're gonna have to.
Funny because Karen obviously was like, wait, hold a minute, what? Like, that was the one time Karen was almost trying to openly disagree with the sentiment, like, no sis, I'm not, I do listen. But the friend is telling you this because they're reading you. They're seeing you. And they're telling you, listen, darling, you don't listen. Let me be frank with you. Maybe no one's been frank with you. I'm going to be frank with you. You need to listen. The way the friend articulated it, articulated the fact that, Karen wants the kind of look that, she wants to be given that look and she knows what it is. And she explained that Miles is not that guy. Miles is the kind that says, what is it that you need? Do you know how beautiful it is to communicate?
It's like, if you give him that look, he's gonna be like, what do you need? How can I help you?
You kind of want him to be like, this is what it is, or
like that would be one of my concerns.
In your mouth and express that. Do you know how hard it is for a lot of people to do that? Do you know that? Listen, don't get it twisted. There is parts of us that want to have there's parts of us where, obviously, if I look at you, I'm pissed, right? That's just human interaction relationships. I look at you and you can tell Koji ain't happy, right? That's natural. You look at Miles, he has a look when you look at him and you know he's pissed, you know he's angry, you know he's hurt, right? But you're asking for a certain look that would, and you know what? Let me put it this way. The look that you're talking about, okay? Yeah, our parents did it to us, but how do they do the look to us? Oftentimes they beat us, and you know that when they do that look, it means I'll beat your ass. So that look that you may be asking for may be a little bit toxic and a little bit abusive. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a teeny weeny bit. You know what I'm saying? And, Karen goes and say, she feels that Miles is not going to be able to put her in a place and lead the relationship. And I want to say this again. I don't think Miles will ever have the pizzazz to put you in your place. And I said this in the first rant review.